morning, so I'm gonna see if I can vlog today for you guys. Some people have been asking me about it, so here we go. Okay, what are we doing today? So we had the Alfa Romeo in here. I've been doing some work for another restoration company that specializes in Alfa Romeos and Morgans. They lost their painter recently, so they needed another painter, and so I've stepped in for their painter. We had a little issue in the front of that car, and it was supposed to be delivered today or yesterday. So anyway, at the beginning of the week, I got a call and I needed to go do some touch-ups on it. There was actually a spot that needed to be blended. They touched up brush touched some spots that they felt comfortable with, but they didn't feel comfortable blending this area that needed blended in the nose of the car. So I went out there day before yesterday and blended it, let it sit overnight, and then yesterday morning, after I found out about all this, I went out there and I polished that car out, got it all done. Came back, and once I came back from Salem, I had the parts in for the Grand Wagoneer. I was waiting on shorter shocks. So these Bilsteins that were on it from the other company, the other fab shop, they're 20-inch body, 16-inch throw, rock crawler shocks. They're like a 5160 series, 5126 series, something like that. So I ordered the correct length ones for the front. The back ones were fine. These ones were too long, so these are going to be leftovers, and then I got the correct ones installed. I also had e-brake cables to do, and I had, what else did I do? Oh, I modified the the brake brackets. Here's the deck lid for the Alfa Romeo. I had to modify the e-brake brackets on the back of the calipers for the Waggy, and there's something else. Oh, the pitman arm. So I put a drop pitman arm on it that came in from BJ's Off-Road. BJ's Off-Road, if you guys are doing Wagoneer restorations, or you're in the Pacific Northwest, need some Jeep parts, check out BJ's Off-Road. They've been bar none in helping me out with this project. They've sent me stuff that was damn near overnight on, you know, from companies that normally you'd expect a couple of week delivery to. So thank you, BJ's Off-Road. You guys have kicked ass on everything you guys have sent me out. It's been great stuff, and I haven't had to send anything back, so I appreciate your work up there. Keep going, guys. Check them out if you can. Anyway, so I got the pitman arm in from BJ's Off-Road, and I got a 1-ton GM tie rod reamer. It's a 7-degree per foot taper. So I re-tapered the pitman arm for a GM 1-ton tie rod end because it's got 1-ton crossover steering on it. We got that installed. We got the front brakes installed. I had to make a couple of brackets for the e-brake cables and modify some stuff, but I got the e-brakes in there, and the e-brakes are functioning. So Grand Wagoneer is done. We'll go for a drive later, and I'll go over all the goodies with you. All right. So today, what are we going to do today? That's where we are. That's our updates up till this point. So, hi, there you are again. So let's go up here so you're not looking up my nose. So I was supposed to paint this deck lid last night, but I ran out of gas last night, so I'm going to try and get it done today. Today is Wednesday. I was supposed to bring the Morgan over, and we're ready to prime the Morgan for Morgan West of Santa Monica, California. So it's going to go out to them when it's all done. It's ready for primer, needs to come in, but I needed to paint this deck lid first, and I'm trying to get the Grand Wagoneer out of the way so I'm not spraying a bunch of material with the Waggy here, and those guys are chipping at the bit. So I'm going to bring the Waggy back in. I'm going to double check it. I'm going to detail it today. I'm going to brush touch some spots that I've been owing the client on brush touching because there was a couple of spots that peeled around the door jambs and whatever. Typical stuff. No big deal. So I'm going to brush touch that stuff. I'm going to detail it. I'm going to wax it. Take it for another drive, make sure it's all good, check the engine compartment again, and then that should be good to go. Once that's all done today, then I'm going to paint this deck lid. And then there's the glove box door that needed to be repainted. There was a little lumpy spot in it that the restoration shop wasn't happy with, so we'll take care of that real quick. Hang that stuff up or leave it on the table to dry, close the shop, and We'll contact them about the Morgan, see if we can get the Morgan over Thursday morning, which is a day later than we thought, but as of yesterday, that was still fine with the restoration shop. I mean, days aren't weeks and aren't months. Days are fine on restoration, so that's all good. If the Morgan comes over tomorrow, we'll prime it, and tomorrow afternoon we'll deliver the Grand Wagoneer. Hopefully everything goes well the next 3 days, and then I can bring the 4Runner back next week for the bumper. We'll do that next week, and then we'll have Gambler 500 that weekend, so it'll be 2 weekends from now. We'll come back, we'll have 4th of July. Holy crap. And then I should be able to bring the 4Runner in and focus on the 4Runner and get it done. And then I have a fender flare that I really need to get for Jonathan done. He's kind of in between, and I gotta make a priority and get your fender done for you, Jonathan. And then we got Jeff's tonneau cover that we got to paint body color for F-150. So plenty of stuff to do. Hope you guys enjoy the vlog. I've been talking a lot. I think that's what vlogs are all about. So give me a like if you like the vlog. How's that? Give me some likes. Give me some subs. I'll keep doing this talking to the camera thing if you guys like what I'm doing. Anyway, thanks for being here. I'm not really comfortable doing this, and I'm going to film everything today. So if you like it, let me know. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate the subscribers and the views, and hope you guys learned something. Hope you guys get some entertainment. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, morning. Talk to you later. Oh, there's a water spot on there. Sorry about that. So we can dry it off now and make sure it's not dripping real bad because we don't want any water spots on it, and then we'll get wax on it right away. So I'm gonna get drying it off, and then we'll bring it in and wax it. Space cleaned up for the Waggy. I'm gonna go get a fresh cup of coffee. I'll fire that sucker up and bring her in. So anyway, clean, fresh touch, detail and wax. Go for a drive, set up the delivery date. All right. Well, here she is. I live on the main road of town, so I apologize about the road noise. Let's get her moved in and cleaned up. Yeah. So this has a AMC 360 race motor in it with a Holley Sniper fuel injection kit on it. So the first thing we got to do when we fire it up is you can't just hit the key like you normally would. You gotta let the firmware boot up. Let the fuel pump pressurize. Once the fuel pump kicks off, then you can turn it over. She runs great cold. We'll get her all cleaned up. Runs out real good. Alright, so I got her all waxed, cleaned up, buffed out. A couple of touch-up spots. I got the pitch off of it from the pine tree. And now we're going to go around and brush touch these spots. I was going to brush touch before I waxed, but I didn't want to worry about bumping any of the fresh touch-ups when I went to wax. So I waxed it, and I'll just clean the little spots I need to, touch them up. She's done. So I've been saving this can for a year, and it just barely has a splotch of paint left in it, but it's the matching color for this, and I knew when it left that it was going to be going to another shop, and it always comes back with blemishes, so I saved a little bit so I can do some touch-ups. So what I do is I mix no reducer, and then I put a little bit of clear in there and a little bit of catalyst to mix it all up, and then I use horsehair brush and touch it up. So I'm going to go around and get all those spots right now, and we should be done. It's looking beautiful. Appreciate you guys being here. I hope you liked the vlog today. Talk to you soon. pinstriping brush, real horsehair. Brush touching with metallic is a real pain in the butt. As you can see, this paint was pretty much all flake. I did coarse and then added in all the large, so it's got double metallic in it. So I'm going to mix some of this up with a little bit of clear coat and some hardener, and we'll go around and touch a few spots. Alright, well, I've been having a little issue with the torque converter on the Grand Waggy. The transmission shift points and all that, it's all working good, but the torque converter locks up really prematurely, and I can't quite figure out why. It'll unlock via the brake switch like it's supposed to, and everything's working right, but when you're in town driving at slow speeds, it's like it wants to chug along on that torque converter until you hit the brakes. And so I'm going to run over and talk to my tranny guy and see what he thinks about it, and we'll go from there. Everything else seems good. I'm all done with it, so I'm just going to see if I can finish up this one last thing before I make a schedule for delivery. So we'll go for a ride, see how she runs. Don't forget your e-brake. It works now. Runs out real good. Right there, torque converter locked up. I can step on it. Torque converter unlocks. I'll see what the tranny guy says. Alright, so I'm all done with the Waggy. Here she is. So I had to get underneath and adjust the drag link because my steering wheel was way crooked, so I got that centered out. It's good to go. What else did I have to do today? I had to readjust adjust the throttle valve cable on the transmission because the torque converter wasn't unlocking properly. I got that taken care of. There was a small brake fluid leak on that center fitting right there on the brake lines, on the hard lines. So I got that tightened up and it's good to go. E-brake cables are all ran. It's all good. And got it all washed and waxed and buffed out, spit shine. Took her for a drive. She drives good. So I contacted the client, and I'm going to deliver this thing tomorrow afternoon. I couldn't find a reputable drive shaft shop down here to build me new drive lines. Up there, he's up in Oregon City, so he's got a few shops right close to him, and he said he can have that done pretty quick, so no worries on that. So I just got to put some gas in it, and I'm going to put another 20-30 miles on it tonight, maybe tomorrow morning before I go up, just to make sure everything's finalized and good and it takes highway speed fine, and we'll be good to go on that. So in order to keep schedule, I need to, it's about 3 o'clock right now, so if I'm going to bring the Morgan in tomorrow, I still need to get this deck lid painted and the trunk face painted tonight. So I'm going to mix up some paint real quick and blow the shop out, move the Waggy, and I'm going to paint these real quick so I can bring the Morgan in, and then he can pick those up at the same time as he drops the Morgan off, and then we'll get to priming on the Morgan tomorrow. So I'm going to scuff this stuff up and see if I can get some paint squirted. Whew, been busy today. Taxi stand. So this thing was already painted once, and it got wet sanded with 1000 grit, and there was a small spot in it that was either thin or had an imperfection that didn't have enough material on it, whatever. When they went to sand it out, and it sanded through to the sealer. So rather than trying to blend this in the middle of the deck lid, I'm just going to repaint the whole thing. And then there was a spot over here, so all I got to do is, because it was already 1000 gritted, 1000's a little bit too smooth for the material to stick to, so I'm going to take red Scotch-Brite and I'm going to give it an even coat of Scotch-Brite and then clean it and blow it all off, and then we should be ready for paint. I don't need a sealer or anything like that, because this acrylic urethane will stick to acrylic urethane just fine without a sealer, so no worries on that. So I'm going to get it all prepped up, and then we'll mix up some paint and shoot it. Alright, so I'm going to put a block underneath here and hold this thing up, because if this edge sits down on the paper when I paint it, I got to paint this edge. It'll build up here and stick to the paper, and we'll have a funny looking edge. This will be alright if I just take and tape it down tight to the table, and this will be lifted up. I'll put something underneath this just to hold it up in the air a little bit. And then I'll tape all this paper down real quick, so when I'm spraying it doesn't blow the paper up into my work. So I gotta do that real quick, wipe it off, wax and grease remover, dry wipe it, tack rag it. I need to sweep the floor real quick, and then wet it down, and then I'll be ready to mix paint. Alright, so these old Alfas and Romeos and a lot of the old MGs and Nashes and not so much the Chevys and the muscle cars, but you know, the old antique stuff. They like to get that finish looking like the old lacquer that they used to do back in the day. And nobody makes a lacquer that is like the lacquer that we have. You know, the lacquer nowadays isn't like the lacquer that they used to make. And so what they use is a acrylic urethane, which is a single stage. You don't use any clear coat over the top of it. It doesn't have as much UV protectant in it, but it has a definite right in your face look. So the stuff that this shop is using, this client specifically recommends he wants used PPG in the DCC line. It's a really high dollar, high gloss, a lot of technology into it. This is a Blanco white is what the color is called. It's also known as China white, but this color, this single stage is mixed 4-2-1. So we'll go 4 parts color, 2 parts reducer, 1 part hardener. And then you can do that in any kind of container as long as you're using the same parts. Well, if you guys want to know some more specifics on that, just let me know, and I can do a video maybe later on about the specifics on mixing ratios. Anyway, this is all, even though it's white, it's got all kinds of different colors of toner in it, so I always give it a good stir before I dump it into my can that I'm going to mix in, just to make sure that I've got, yes, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I'm getting different colors coming up to the top as I'm stirring this. So I want to make Alright, so in this I did 1 cup, which means if I'm going to go 4-2-1, I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of this and a 1/4 cup of hardener. Alright, let's move that thing and then wipe this off and paint it. Alright, so that's the first coat. We're kind of playing with this a little bit, so I normally do a double cross coat. I'm not going to do a cross coat this time, so I just did a single coat. I'm going to let that sit for about 10 minutes, maybe 15, just depends on how it flashes. I'm about 70 degrees in here right now, so I'm just going to let that flash for a second. I'll put 1 more coat on there and then I'm done with it. It looks really good so far.
Alright, so we're going to do coat number 2. This time I'm going to go 90 degrees from the first coat that I put on there. That'll give it a nice overlap and a cross coat, and then we won't have any striping going on. So let's spray this last coat, clean the gun out, and then we'll be, I think we're done for the day. So thanks for being here. And we're done with the shop. Alright, let's get the hell out of here. Here's my mom coming to check on us.
Alright, so we started with the Grand Waggy. I got it all washed and touched up, brush touched, and then we waxed and detailed everything and took it for a drive. We had torque converter lockup issues, so I readjusted the TV cable on it, readjusted the drag link to center up the steering wheel, and then took it for another drive. It was all good. Took a break, took care of the kids, and then we went out and prepped that deck lid and glove box door for paint, painted all that, so that way tomorrow we can do a rearrange, be ready to go. So I'm gonna see if Nick wants to bring the Morgan in tomorrow, and then he'll pick up the parts for the Alpha at the same time, and then tomorrow afternoon I'm going to deliver the Grand Waggy to the client here this evening. Hopefully, if I got enough daylight hours, I'm going to do a walk around video of the Grand Wagoneer before I take it up, so that way we've got good documentation of what all was done to it and give you guys a little showing of it. And then I'm going to have a meeting with the boys tomorrow evening at the Tiger Tap House. We're going to talk about Gambler 500 stuff and get our ducks in a row, make sure our game plan's set. And then if we need to do any last minute stuff this weekend, we'll do some last minute stuff on the Gambler rigs. And then we'll be ready to go for Gambler next weekend. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching the vlog if you watched the whole thing. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up so that way I know to keep doing these. I'm really not very comfortable doing it, but I've been asked a few times to do these. So anyway, if you can give me a subscribe, give me a thumbs up, whatever, I really appreciate it. And these are all for you guys. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Take care.